Wow, the huge difference. Oh my God. It went from 1600 to 5000.
So my computer is about 5 years old, I think, and it's actually great. It's still running really good. I have a really good CPU. I'm really happy with it. It's one of those Intel's i9s or whatever, and it's overclocked and it's water cooled, and it has a decent video card, also known as GPU. But that was like 5 years ago. The current one is RTX 2060, and let's just say that things are moving much faster in the direction of my computer needs to be upgraded with a new GPU, and for those reasons, I went ahead and bought one of these. So the reason I bought one of these is because, well, frankly, sometimes I play video games that require a lot more bandwidth, a lot more video memory, and other things that are preventing me from enjoying some video games that I like to play casually. I'm not a big gamer like I used to be when I was a young lad, but right now I am really feeling it, and it sucks that when I casually do play that I really can't enjoy some of the new games that are coming out, especially the ones that are using like Unreal Engine 5. And this will be a huge upgrade compared to what I currently am using. Alright, so admittedly, this is not the best brand of a video card to buy. I think other ones are better brand, but this is what is available currently at MSRP, meaning manufacturer's suggested retail price. And the reason is because of AI. AI chips, which is what this is used for mostly nowadays, for the big data centers that process AI. You know, whenever you ask ChatGPT to answer your question, chances are there are thousands and thousands of these in a data center that are being used to process the responses, because these things are just better at the processing of AI requests rather than just regular CPUs. So for those reasons, the price has been way above MSRP, and finally now has come down to MSRP cost, or MSRP purchase price for these type of devices. And frankly, I'd rather not wait for tariffs to take effect for these chips to go up in price again, because they will definitely pass the cost to consumers like they always do. Now, before you go out and purchase a GPU or a video card for yourself, GPU, graphical processing unit, video card, same thing, right? And that's the reason I'm making this video, is because I wanted to make an educational video, because that's what I do. I teach IT. The main thing to consider is obviously the price, whether it's worth it for you to upgrade, and the cost, and for how long is this going to be an item that you can use for multiple years to come. For me, this should be good for 3 to 4 years, because this is not the best and most expensive version of this card. So the cost to value ratio, you need to consider this yourself. And sometimes you have to pay more money to make sure you have a power supply that's strong enough to run your computer. For example, for this video card, this is how much power is required to run it. So it's going to vary from card to card. The reason I didn't say it out loud is because I actually need to look it up, in the sense that hopefully my power supply is strong enough to run this card, right? Otherwise, I may have to run back to the store or order it on Amazon like I did this item, and wait for an upgraded power supply to come. Otherwise, the power supply will just blow up. That's what happens. You start to smell something bad, and your computer dies. Sometimes it doesn't, but if you hear something bad, chances are that one of the capacitors blew, or something else on your power supply, because it couldn't handle the power that it's required from the GPU. Generally speaking, the less the GPU costs, the less power it requires and less power it consumes. So if you're concerned about power draw, then, if you want to pay less in your power bill, energy bill, then you might want to consider something that's less powerful. This is kind of a mid-range type of card, and I don't expect it to pull more than 300, maybe 350 watts. But another thing to consider too is the quality of power supply. For example, I have a decent brand of power supply, which is EVGA, and the rating on it is completely different from a cheap $50, let's say, power supply that you've never heard of brand. So you're better off buying a name brand power supply to make sure that it doesn't blow up and that your full system can run. Now, sometimes these GPUs will say recommended system power, and that's completely different from how much your GPU is going to pull when it comes to power itself as well. So, for example, my computer is also overclocked, which is fine, but it doesn't overall currently pull more than around 300 watts overall, because I have one of those things that you use to measure how much wattage is being pulled from the computer and everything else. And for me, the total system power is around 300 currently. So if I have 500 watt power supply, and this thing should be just fine. But again, we'll find out, and I'll show you how to replace this. Also, if you're interested in purchasing this, there is a link in the description and in the first comment.
So here's the benchmark of the system with 2060. You can see I have the 2060 here, RTX, and then I have Intel CPU i9-9900K that is overclocked to 4.7 gigahertz, 24 gigs of RAM, and the storage is Samsung SSD M.2 Evo. This is just what the base systems are. I have more storage available, but just to show you what it looks like, this is a free version of 3D Mark, and I just wanted to have a benchmark just to kind of go off to see what the difference is. I figured this is the easiest way to go about it. So let's go ahead and click run, and once the results are available, I will go ahead and show them to you. Here is the benchmark in progress. You can see that 2060 still runs, relatively okay. If I was to adjust the settings, I don't know what the settings are right now on this thing, but when it comes to the benchmark itself, but you can see that it's running, right? It doesn't run great. It looks to me like it's running maybe 14, 15 FPS, but the point of these things is to test or stress test your computer. But you can see there are no major stuttering issues. There is definitely stuttering. And we will compare this to what it looks like with 5070. And sure enough, here is the result for the current system. It is lower than other systems with similar specs, which is unfortunate. But either way, it's going to be a huge upgrade for me once I put this other one in. And you can see that I was pretty close to guessing of how much FPS it was actually running, and it's 16.8. And it shows you CPU and GPU utilization, frequency that it's running at, temperatures and whatnot, and just a little bit more details of what's going on with detailed settings if you want to look at them. You can see that the GPU load here is 100% and the CPU utilization is only 9%. So 100% of this test result was the GPU was using 100% of its power to run this test. And yeah, we'll see what happens with the other one. So this is what a 5-year-old computer looks like. You can see there's lots of dust. I will go ahead and take this metal cover off so we will get inside. Okay, I went ahead and took the glass cover off. And here is our old GPU. One thing to also ensure is that you have enough power to connect the new one to. The new one may require 16-pin connector. So I have 8 pins here, and I've got 8 more pins here already connected. So that's good. That means I should be ready to connect this thing. All right, that's 8 more pins there. Okay, obviously I will clean all this dust once I'm done installing the new one, but just to kind of give you an overview of what I have here. And this is water cooled, and here's the RAM. You can see the RAM is kind of mismatched, which is fine. And the color is just different brand, but I made sure that it's the same speeds. So it's matching, you know, it's not a really big deal. Try not to burn yourself whenever you're doing this, because some components can be hot if your computer's been running. And yeah, have fun while you're doing it. The way you, so this one just has this little tab over on this side. So I will unscrew this here so we can move it up. Also on this side here. I'm probably not getting a good angle here for you to see, but your computer is going to vary. This is a custom case, I suppose. Anyways, I'm gonna tighten it back up so it holds this little plate up, but I need to get a screwdriver and loosen this here. Another thing to keep in mind is whether you have a GPU that takes up 2 slots. This one takes up 2 slots, and how you know is because you got 2 screws here that are being used. And you can see that it's taking up 2 slots. So if you don't have enough space in your computer, then might need to think, like some cards are even bigger or wider. Also the length of a card, if it's too long, you may not be able to fit over here. And you want to connect the GPU closer to the CPU because generally speaking, that PCIe slot there is faster than the one that's down here. May not be, but they all should be 16 times. But this one is definitely 16 times. Sometimes these are 8 times. That one is like 4 times if I'm not mistaken, but it's good for like add-on cards. That's also PCI Express slot. So is this one here. So one thing to consider when buying these cards, or not to worry about, I suppose, is the speed of the PCI Express slot. And that can vary from computer to computer, right? Mine is probably 3.0, maybe 4.0. But the PCI Express, just to kind of give you an idea, these slots here, it looks just like this one that's connected to. So it's like this one here. This thing is, it came around, I want to say in early 2000s as a PCI Express. Before that, it used to be called AGP, and it was shorter, and it was blue, called Accelerated Graphics Board. But they switched over to using PCI Express, and it was a version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and now it's 5.0. If your GPU says 5.0 and you only have 3.0, it's going to be fine. The difference is negligible when it comes to the GPU as of now. So maybe in the future, if you have a graphics card that can do 5.0, it will do much better. Technically, it is faster, but the difference is like 1%. So don't think that you have to have a 5.0 slot in order to use your GPU and have a good time, right? Like I said, the difference is negligible at times. So it's like maybe 2 to 5 frames. You know, it just depends. It's like, it's nothing. It's nothing you would notice. So I'm not worried about the fact that the new GPU can utilize PCI Express 5.0 because it'll be just fine. All right, so I went ahead and got a screwdriver and just kind of removed these screws here. Now, something to keep in mind, you may not even need a screwdriver depending on your computer. It may just be a thing that just kind of clips on, you press it down, which is fine. Otherwise, you just have to pull it up and it just kind of unclips if you don't see the screws in here. You can see this thing is now loose in the sense that it's moving left and right, but you can't just yank it out you can't just yank it out because it's stuck with a clip that's on the back of this thing. You see one of these here? You have to push this down, and if you don't do that, it's stuck, right? And there are some computers that have a different version of it. It's kind of a blue one. So instead of this one here that moves up and down, that's part of the PCI slot, it's actually a blue one that moves sideways. So you have to make sure you push it sideways. It's like a blue one. Sometimes blue, sometimes red, whatever. It's just a color, right? But like you may have to make sure you push it sideways to release the GPU so you can pull it out. Otherwise, it's locked in place. Luckily, this one is a bit easier to remove because, you know, it has that little thing I just pushed down. So So I'm just going to feel for it on the other side, and I'm going to push it down so that way I can release it. There it is. I just did it. Okay. And now I can just pull this thing straight up. There it is. Completely out. So that's how it looks like. And you can see on the bottom here that it has that release thing. So I pushed it down. It's really, I like this one. I like this one much easier because I can just push it down. Otherwise, the blue clip is so annoying to like push it. So you have to like push it out or push it in, I forget. Anyways. So another thing to keep in mind whenever you're installing it is that the back of the CPU or GPU passes, the back plate can pass between that little gap. You see the little gap there? So you don't hit the motherboard. Has to make sure that it passes that. And what I'm talking about is this part here. You can probably, let me see if I can shove it through here. Yeah, you see that? Right there. You have to make sure that the back of this fits into that little gap between the case and the motherboard. So, you know, the GPU sits like this. When you go down, make sure it fits in there. Sometimes you have to bend these a little bit. Just a little bit. You can bend them by hand, really. And just to make sure it clears. Don't force anything whenever you install a GPU. Oh my God, look at all this dust. I really need to clean this. All right, so here's our new GPU versus the old one. The old one is thicker, I mean, as in taller, and this one is longer. So this is what I was talking about. Make sure you have enough space in your case to accommodate for this. So for those reasons, these type of things will not fit in a small form factor computers. Now, there is a specific version of this that will be a small form factor. So if you have a smaller computer, but now those computers actually don't usually come with enough of power to handle this type of GPU. This is just a protective cover for the connector here, for the PCI EX, connector here, like the other one. Slightly different design than that. Just different color, actually. So anyway, it comes with this plastic on it. One thing that I kind of expect it to be the case, and this is why it's good to do your research, is that we do have to use 16 pin, but it comes with a connector here. So trying to get a focus here. I'll show you a little bit better when I put the card in. Let me just take this. There's plastic on this plastic cover, protective cover. I don't know why it's on there. Whatever. I'll rip this off and get back to you. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the plastic ripped off. So it's RTX 5070. That's the back of it. Okay, let's put it in. Okay. Hopefully I don't drop it here. I'll try to do it with one hand. Should fit just fine. It's longer. All right, let me see here. I'm gonna make sure I align the back of it like I've described before. These hoses are kind of in the way a little bit. Oh no, not really. It actually set in there on its own. You can see that it just kind of aligned almost. I can go back a little bit more. This is always awkward for me to film. Okay, I'm trying to get the focus for you. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get this. I'm actually looking at the camera myself. And by camera, I mean my phone. So let me just get this aligned. Take your time whenever you're doing this. It's almost there. Come on. It's almost there. Just want to make sure I've got enough room here. That's enough room there. I don't see, it's just hoses. They're not touching the fans, so that's fine. Well, before I push it down, let me make sure I have enough access to my cable. Actually, let me pull this cable from this other side because it could be blocking it. Make sure there's nothing underneath. You see that thing was actually underneath it. So maybe that was potentially blocking it. Let me put that aside here. Always take your time whenever you're doing this stuff, because this stuff ain't cheap, man. It was like $550 plus tax for this GPU here. And you don't want to break that. All right. I know this is not super professional here, but we'll make it happen. Adjusting my little plate back here. Keeps going down, the one that's in the back. Okay, all right, finally I got it screwed down. Okay, here we go. All right, I got the back aligned fine. Now this should just go in. Oh, okay, it's aligned. Yeah, I think that cable was actually in my way. So let me push it down. Come on. Yeah, I'm trying not to force anything. Okay. Yeah, it's not even close in there. Or is it? Let me look at the other side. Oh, I gotta move. Okay. I have to move around here. Okay. It's not there yet. It's not there quite yet. I'm gonna put my camera down here, and by that I mean my phone. The hose is in the way. Okay. It's all right. Here we go. Come on. Really can't get a good angle. All right, here. That should be good enough. I mean, it's kind of acting like it's all the way down, and I think it is. I don't see any pins, any connectors sticking out. I think it's down, all the way down where it's supposed to be. Yeah, it looks like it. If I pull it up, I can't. Okay, think that's good. Wow, that slid in just by itself. I didn't really push anything. And that's ideally what you want, because if I look at this other side here, to make sure that it's flush down here to this, here is our GPU. You can see there's hardly any gap there, so it's where it's supposed to be. And now I'm just going to put the screws down. I'm going to put the screws down and tighten this down. Like, it's not ideal perfection, right? But you can tell that it's down, right? And it's not even moving left and right, actually. When I shake it, it's not moving. So I think we're good there. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I put the screws down. And back to our connection for the power. So here is our 16 pin, I'm sorry, 16 pin that goes right there. Come on, focus. Come on, there it is. 16 pin connector. All right, and you can see the clip here. That's the, it keeps going out of focus, whatever. But looks like it only goes one way, so you can't really make a mistake. All right, so this one will go down like this. So I'm just gonna push it down. Is it down? I think it's wow. These things fit really nice. I don't have to really put any force to it, but it looks to be down all the way, so that's good. If I want to remove it, I would have to press that clip and just kind of pinch it and remove it if I wanted to. Wow, this thing is fitting really nice. Helps that it's not as tall as the other one, so whenever I bend these cables, I can close my case just fine without having to worry about anything. Okay, so on your power supply, you see this one is labeled PCIe, and this one is also labeled PCIe. So I'm going to connect those to this here. All right. Let's try this first one here. Wow, I'm terrible angles. I'm sorry. But it's kind of fun. It's been a while since I've made any of these videos. I'm trying to do it with one hand and hold the camera with the other. Anyways, it's really not hard. You just have to make sure it's aligned. I'm making it look hard because I'm doing it with left hand. Okay. All right, that's one. Wow, terrible camera angles. I'm sorry. All right, that goes in. That's fine. And let me try the other one here. My phone is kind of overheating actually, so hopefully it doesn't degrade the camera. It doesn't degrade the image. All right, I'm gonna need two hands because this one is like a little twist to it. So I'll have to use two hands for this. All right, I'm gonna install this. I'm gonna fire it up. There's really nothing else to do here aside from putting those screws over there. And we're gonna do the benchmark. So obviously, once you install the new GPU, make sure you get the drivers installed, the newest drivers available. In my case, it's NVIDIA. And if you get an AMD GPU, do the same. And you might want to completely uninstall the drivers and do a clean uninstall of all drivers. If you're going from AMD to NVIDIA or from NVIDIA to AMD, make sure you completely remove the old drivers and clean uninstall them. And then reinstall the new ones once you can preemptively install the drivers as well, if possible. But in my case, I will go ahead and reinstall the drivers, even though it's the same driver that was for 2060. It still has to be reinitialized, and for those reasons, I'll go ahead and just reinstall the same driver to make sure that everything is working smoothly without any issues. All right, and now we are back. Let's go ahead and run this, and just to kind of confirm, there it is, RTX 5070 on the left here. It's installed now, and the free benchmark, let's go ahead and see what happens here. Oh, wow. It's a lot faster, I can already tell. Yeah, it's definitely smoother. I hope the results are better. I mean, it looks like it. We'll see what the score is in the end. It's not too short. It's about 16, I think the last score was 1600 with 16 frames per second. And I hope this is at least double. It feels like it when I'm just looking at it with my eyeballs. You can probably see the difference just by looking at the video, how smooth it is. I mean, I am still seeing some pop-ins, texture pop-ins. I don't know if this is something to do with the benchmark itself, but it's looking smooth. I mean, this is definitely good FPS to play on. Anyways, this is a synthetic benchmark. So let's see, here we go. Results. Wow. Wow, the huge difference. Oh my God. It went from 1600 to 5000 and from 16 to 53 FPS. Again, this is a synthetic benchmark, right, at 4K. And, I'm assuming these are maxed out settings for whatever this is. And I'm assuming the games themselves are going to do even better. Usually these benchmarks are really pushing the system to the max. I wanted to see the GPU load. Here it says 100%. And CPU load is now up by 34. It's up to 34% compared to like 10% before CPU utilization. So not only did it, wow, it actually improved the utilization of the CPU, which is huge. Wow, that's interesting. So it maxed out the GPU load here. You can see on the red and the black here. No, I'm sorry. The CPU load is 33, 30. Wow, it's much better. Wow, that's interesting. Well, I'd say that's worth the upgrade. If you're interested in this, there will be a link in the description. I mean, I'm assuming even if I went with 5060, considering how old my 2060 is, this would have been a huge upgrade to begin with. But honestly, I did not expect this big of an upgrade for me. All right, I hope you like this video. I hope it's educational, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, hopefully this helps you as well, like figure out whether you want to upgrade yourself. Take care. Bye-bye.